The twin seductresses of our age. A rambling story about where we're going wrong. There are two great beauties who have captivated our age. They're so dazzling that people everywhere are sending them offerings and making sacrifices in their names in order to win their hearts. You may have heard of them. You haven't seen them in the movies or heard the songs they sing, but the names of these temptresses are on the lips of all the men of business throughout the city. They are bewitching seductresses who demand much and seem to offer very little in return. Many who have pursued them have found that they have lost everything, even the very connection they desire. The truth is, there are some who are pursuing these ladies, even though they don't know who they are or why. These ladies seem to be the highest good that can be sought out. They are the prize for which all else must be pushed aside. They have no equals, and they stand alone as objects of desire for every captain of industry. They have everyone in a spin. That is until you look a little closer and see what is beyond the hype. Maybe these two ladies aren't all they're cracked up to be. When you look harder at them, their masks begin to slip. Perhaps they promise much and deliver little, because they don't have the true gold you seek. Maybe they are hollowing you out of the very thing you actually desire and give you shallow comfort in return. These ladies are the twin seductresses of our age: efficiency and convenience. Yes, that introduction was unnecessarily dramatic and proof that I don't have a future as a romance novelist. Thankfully, that's not the goal. But it was the only way I could picture the infatuation some people seem to have with efficiency and convenience. It's like a love affair where otherwise sensible people lose all reason. You can make an obviously bad decision and people will rightly push back at you. But if you say this same bad decision will improve efficiency or convenience, somehow people will step back and wave the bad decision on through with smiles of approval. Why is that? Why do we sacrifice things to efficiency and convenience? And precisely whose convenience are we working towards? And who is finding all this more efficient? Furthermore, who decided the criteria by which we are judging this efficiency and convenience? This is about the time I should be providing you with some examples, otherwise this is more of a rant than a ramble, so here goes. In the height of the first lockdown, when things were really crazy, I was in the queue at my local Tesco's. Fortunately, the sun was shining and the sky was blue, because I was stood in a queue at Tesco car park with 110 people in front of me. Yes, I really counted. We were socially distanced, using the painted lines for the car park spaces as markers. We alternated. One person stands on the painted line, the next person in the car park space, then the next one on the line, and so on. We were all waiting diligently for the traffic light at the door to turn green so one person could enter the shop. It was a one in, one out. For ages we stood in that queue. Inevitably we all started distracting ourselves on our phones, then felt the embarrassment of having been caught on our phones. We started chatting to one another in the line. Those awkward English conversations. Yes, of course, we chatted about the unusually glorious weather. I'd just sent a photo of the enormous line to my brothers, both of whom live overseas, and neither of whom at that time were suffering with anything like the shortages the UK faced. I said as much to the old lady behind me, who chuckled and said, "Well, yesterday when I came here, the queue was nothing like this. It was only about 20 or so people. It's not normally this bad." What? My mind was blown. Although, of course, I was too polite to say it. She came here yesterday? I hadn't been to a shop in almost a week. I thought we were all staying home and trying to protect the elderly and vulnerable. Like her. And she's popping out to Tesco's every day to get her supplies? To be fair, no sooner had the reality of what she had said sunk in than I realised the obvious thing I was missing. I live at home with my wife and 2 boys. She probably lives at home on her own. No wonder she was popping out to Tesco's daily. She was trying to see people. This past Christmas holidays I've spoken to a couple of separate people who both mentioned that they go out of the house in the hopes of bumping into people to talk to. Not anyone in particular, just someone. That's a level of isolation I cannot even imagine. I'm fortunate enough to live with my family around me, and I work in an office where I share a room with 3 people. On some days, we even have a 5th person try and squeeze in. Who knew that my cramped office with a leaky window was the place to be? The reason I suggested that efficiency and convenience were seductive but ultimately hollow goals was because I think they're measured using the wrong metrics. Financially speaking, the decision to appease convenience and efficiency makes perfect sense, but you are made of much more than just your monetary value. You're a whole person. You're not a walking bank balance. Saving you a few pounds here or there is not worth losing your soul for. It's not worth losing human connection over. And by being dramatic again, maybe, but as Os Guinness says, it's that contrast is the mother of clarity, so I'm trying to throw up a sharp contrast for you. In my country, just under half of all people say they experience some degree of loneliness or isolation. 47%. It's a massive number. And there are medical experts, far more qualified than I will ever be, who inform me that loneliness or isolation can have serious detrimental impact on your health, the equivalent of smoking up to 15 cigarettes a day. Whilst the impacts are thought to be most pronounced on those aged over 65, it is to our shame that in England, people aged 16 to 24 were more likely to say they felt lonely often or always than adults over 35 years of age. We are doing something wrong. Societally, we are aiming at the wrong target somewhere along the line if our young people, who should be in the social prime of their life, are already feeling lonely. This shouldn't even be controversial. It will come to no surprise to you that I blame, in part, our good friends' efficiency and convenience. At this point, I should note that we are our own worst enemies. Efficiency and convenience are not being thrust upon us. We are walking into their embrace willingly. We even seek it out. We embrace convenience uncritically. We cling to her at the promise of an easy life that she whispers in our ear, all the while failing to question whether she has our best interests at heart, or even if she means us well at all. What if she's a trickster with a cold heart who doesn't love us? What if she's only interested in enabling your phone to order your home delivery pizza easier, but has no care for your soul? What if she promises you the convenience of doing your shopping with a self-checkout so you don't have to face the hassle of making small talk with the cashier, without telling you that loneliness and isolation are bred from actions just like these? Think about the youngster in your place of work who is more than capable of sending out hundreds of text messages or emails a day, but can't pick up the phone in the office to make or receive one phone call. I visited the local district council offices in my hometown a couple of years ago, and one of the younger team members had a note on her desk which she had written saying, "Pick up the phone, coward." Perhaps the convenience of being able to order things online and book our conveniences ahead of time without the hassle of speaking to another human had actually accidentally trained our brains to think that people are the problem. They're not. Our inability to speak to them might be, though. In our work, we do whatever we can to attract efficiency. We court her, trying to catch her attention in the hopes that she'll move in with us. But what if she does? What then? Do we know that she has our best interests at heart? What if she's a poison which can slowly damage us without us even noticing? And what if the act of saving money or time is exactly what we should be avoiding? Why is the default assumption that efficiency is our friend? Think about a doctor-patient relationship. Who does the efficiency serve best? The doctor. It enables them to see more patients in a day. The quicker they can see a patient, the quicker they can diagnose and move on to the next one. The winner here is the doctor, but only while they're thinking selfishly. For the patient, they want the doctor to treat them as if they have all the time in the world. Why would anyone want to visit a doctor who resembles a human conveyor belt? This is what enables the private medical industry to thrive in a country with a free national health service. Apparently there are plenty of people who are happy to pay for the privilege of not being treated in an efficient manner. Being treated as a human matters. Being treated as if you are important is something people will pay for, even when there is a free alternative available. I should probably mention that I'm not anti-technology. I'm not anti-progress, and of course I am thankful for the dental anaesthetics that are not available to my forebears. However, I am definitely pro-human connection. I want to speak to a customer service human on the phone, not an AI chatbot. I don't want to avoid talking to people. People are great. I am one. And so are you. Yes, of course there are things about other people which can and do annoy us. That goes without saying. But fear not, other people have a list of ways you annoy them too, so it's all square. Despite all the complexities and awkwardness of speaking and dealing with other humans, apparently it's good for our health. Think about it. The worst punishment the state is able to wield against you is solitary confinement for 23 hours a day. We dress this up as removal from association or segregation, as it sounds nicer. However, this is considered such an extreme punishment in prison that there are limitations placed on it legally, and you're entitled to daily visits from a doctor to ensure that your health does not suffer from it. You can read accounts from prisoners who have had their mental health destroyed by solitary confinement in this country and overseas. It is shown to have lasting effects that can cause serious problems for people, and yet we actively pursue this isolation voluntarily when we court efficiency and convenience. We treat our prisoners better than we treat our lonely people. We rush lonely people in and out of the GP surgery in the most efficient manner possible, even though we know the dangers of loneliness and isolation. You and I, in our private lives, pursue convenience and automated solutions to problems to help us avoid the hassle of speaking to a person, despite the fact that this is actively bad for our health. The sad reality is many of the features that make things attractive to us these days are the very things which are harming us long term. Are we at risk of conveniencing ourselves to death? Before I wrap up this ramble, I have two thoughts from Scripture I'd like to share on this. They are not proof texts of anything, but they are food for thought. 1. Leviticus 19 verse 10 says, "And you shall not glean your vineyard, nor shall you gather every grape of your vineyard. You shall leave them for the poor and the stranger. I am the Lord your God." The idea to wrestle with here is that efficiency wasn't the goal. Intentional wastage was part of God's order. That's a proper head-scratcher. God's plan for the people of Israel was for them to work their fields with a built-in margin for wastage. Don't muzzle your oxen while it's working. Let it eat. Don't glean your vineyard, which is to pick up all the bits that fall on the floor. Let people who need it more come and tidy it up after you. These are both acts of charity aimed at someone else, and an attitude of efficiency only benefits you. Number 2. 2 Samuel 24 verse 24. Then the king said to Araunah, "No, but I will surely buy it from you for a price, nor will I offer burnt offerings to the Lord my God with that which has cost me nothing." So David bought the threshing floor and the oxen for 50 shekels of silver. The idea to wrestle with here is that it would have been convenient for David to sacrifice the thing which cost him nothing. Very convenient. However, that seemed to go against the grain somehow. David wanted it to cost him something, otherwise it wasn't meaningful. Our lives can be filled with myriad convenient and meaningless things, but the things we value most we will not desire convenience in. No bride or groom has ever wished their wedding had been more convenient, perhaps a little shorter with less fuss. No, it's a meaningful celebration. We should deliberately do the inconvenient thing. Set aside the time, cancel all the other plans, make it special. These thoughts have been running around my head for about 6 weeks or so, and I've been going backwards and forwards as to my mind as to whether or not to share them. But here they are. I present to you this ramble, a collection of thoughts. I don't have a firm place where I've landed with it, and to be honest, each time I think about the problem, it expands rather than reduces. All that is left for me to say is thank you. If you've made it this far, it's been very enjoyable to have people join me with these rambles with my thoughts. And if you have any thoughts, comments or questions, why not leave me a message or have a chat with me next time we bump into each other. If you have a friend who you think would enjoy reading this ramble about convenience and efficiency, why not share it with them and see what they think? Grace and peace.